Good morning, class. I so enjoy being able to teach you, and I imagine in my mind that you're looking at me and I'm looking at you and we're learning stuff, and that's really helping me mentally right now. It seems like for the last several chapters we've been just dealing with so many mental health issues. And he even mentions impulsivity in chapter 24, that his impulsiveness was building on itself and making him more anxious and making him more depressed and making him feel like he didn't belong in the world. And then I think that's really what chapter 24 kind of winds up for me, is that, Mary Shelley was not equal. Women were not equal. And they looked at the farming fields and saw black and brown people not equal. We have that one little girl who looked at Frankenstein's creation and didn't judge him. Didn't know that a stitch here and a stitch there and a stitch here and different body parts, didn't know that you're supposed to hate that thing, and instead was just kind. Like, why do we see the person holding the cardboard sign and instantly want to say, oh, they're lazy, or they don't try hard? Thinking about people like that does not make us exceptional. It makes us swirl in the gutter. American exceptionalism, human exceptionalism, should look at the cardboard sign person and say, how can I help you? So that's what teenage Tigan wanted to say today. But he couldn't be with us other than to have that brief message. Chapter 24, we're going to break it up into two videos, guys. The first video is hosted to you by Elizabeth I, Queen Elizabeth I, the Virgin Queen. The state of Virginia was named after her. It's hosted by her father, one of the most notorious monarchs in the history of human beings, Henry VIII. Boy, did he like a good party. Married 6 times, fun fact. Once is enough, guys. Chapter 24, we're going to do 2 parts. We're going to do Victor's final moments of his story to Captain Walton, and then we're going to finish the second part with Captain Walton and how the book ends. So these guys have developed a very strong friendship in the couple months since they discovered him half dead on the ice raft, and they saw the fiend with his dog sled off into the distance, kind of sunset horizon. There's this big giant guy being pulled by his dog sled, and then they find Victor on this ice raft. And so Victor says, as night approached, I found myself at the entrance of the cemetery where William, Elizabeth, and my father reposed. Or he's telling the story of how he got to the ship. So he's at the cemetery where his dead family are in there, and his wife. I entered it and approached the tomb which marked the graves. Everything was silent except the leaves of the trees. The spirits of the departed seemed to flit around and to cast a shadow, which was felt but not seen, around the head of the monster. I knelt on the grass and kissed the earth, and with quivering lips exclaimed, "By the sacred earth on which I kneel, by the shades that wander near me, By the deep and eternal grief that I feel, I swear, and by thee, O night, and the spirits that preside over thee, to pursue the demon who caused this misery, until he or I shall perish in mortal conflict. Very poetic. Lots of E sounding rhymes in that. That's on purpose. I was answered by a loud, fiendish laugh. And the fiend said, I am satisfied, miserable wretch. You have determined to live, and I am satisfied. So he's happy that he's taken away all of his friends and all of his loved ones, and that he has to live in misery now. So the demon starts out with, all I want is a friend. I just need a companion, someone who will look at me and not judge me. Make me a companion. I need a friend. And then to exact revenge on not getting the friend, he takes away all of his creator's friends and loved ones. That irony should not be lost on us. So, he laughs at him, he mocks him, he's he's kissing the ground of his wife's grave, and he's getting laughed at. That would not help my anxiety. It would not help my impulsivity at all. So he starts chasing him. He has superhuman strength and ability, so he can't just run him down. And then the demon says, my reign is not yet over. So it's almost like the demon has a little bit of a God complex. My reign is not yet over. These words were legible. And he's chasing him down. The demon is leaving hints, like cookie crumbs on his trail, right? And so he'll leave like a dead rabbit for Victor to eat. He'll leave messages he'll scrawl messages in trees, and one of them, as he's chasing him, said, my reign is not yet over. You live and my power is complete. Follow me, I seek the everlasting ices of the north, where you will feel the misery of cold and frost. I'm going to the north. You're not going to be able to survive long up there, buddy. And prepare, the next one, this one was inscribed in rock. Prepare your toils, only begin. Wrap yourself in furs and provide food. For we shall soon enter upon a journey where your sufferings will satisfy my everlasting hatred. It's almost like they need each other. He gets a sled of dogs, Victor, which wouldn't be cheap. And he gets provisions for months because he knows he's going to be going over the pole. He's going to need to be able to feed himself and the dogs and have food and stuff. Imagine that. Imagine that you're going to go out into the North Pole or Antarctica and you're not going to have anything for a few months. And imagine what you'd want to prepare for. Like, you couldn't just pack the sled full of just wood for fires. Or just beef ravioli. There would be all sorts of stuff you'd have to think about. Way more than wood or beef ravioli. His dogs start dying as he's chasing the demon. But he's still getting some hints. He's also crying uncontrollably, which isn't a good sign for mental health. Tears will come to his eyes, and then he'll just cry uncontrollably and physically cry on page 191. The ice is constantly shifting around, so it's scary and loud. And then finally, he says to Walton, man, This guy is so eloquent and so persuasive, you cannot listen to him. Kill him. Think of William Justine Clerval, my father. Thrust your sword into his heart, and I will hover near and direct the steel aright. I think Victor's about to peace out, guys. And so is Henry VIII. This has been the first half of Chapter 24, Frankenstein, or The Modern Prometheus, by Mary Shelley. Good afternoon, class.